Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the Bourrasque Bourrasque. This is a Tier 8 French Collector Medium. It's basically a light tank on steroids, and in my opinion, it's one of the most overpowered Tier 8s in the game. I got so sick and tired of people and other YouTubers making opinions like, this tank isn't OP, that I did a play to lose in this vehicle, or I went over an hour and 40 minutes non-stop without losing. It's the longest play to lose I've had on the channel. To be fair, it's the only Tier 8 I've done in a play to lose, but it doesn't take away from the point that in a skilled player's hands, this is easily one of the most overpowered tanks in the game. Now, sure, you could make the argument that an unskilled player isn't going to do too well in it, but we're not talking about 40%ers here, and at the end of the day, if you aren't very good at the game, you shouldn't be driving any lightly armored tanks. You should start off with heavies. You should be moving over to mediums that have a decent amount of armor, something like an E50M, maybe a 121. Then, once you understand how the playstyle kind of works, it's not a bad idea to maybe dip into getting a Bourrasque. But obviously, a beginner is not going to do too well in any lightly armored tank, but it does not take away from the vehicle's capabilities or damage output. Why is it so dangerous? Well, DPM-wise, it's pretty mid. Aiming time is also pretty average, and its dispersion with refined gun is quite good, but in general, the gun isn't anything incredible in the accuracy department. Neither is it the damage per minute. But what it does have is a 320 damage per shot gun, with 2 shells, a 2-second intro clip. That means, in 2 seconds, this vehicle can deal 640 damage. That's literally the same damage as an ISU 152 on a Tier 8 medium, a vehicle that has a top speed of 60 and a power to weight of 23.5. This tank also has a lot of hit points at 1508, and surprisingly, you actually have a very hard time penetrating this vehicle with high explosive ammunition, meaning that it's actually not a bad vehicle in the armor department either for what it really is. Statistics of a vehicle on paper are one thing. How it actually plays in battle is a completely separate category. So that's what we're going to test out right now. The Bourrasque really is just a tank destroyer which has mobility. That's as simple as it is. Oh, and a lot more HP. Because you have to remember the average tank destroyer. I mean, I was going to look at TDs on our team, but we have a T28, which is the highest health tank destroyer in Tier 8. But in general, tank destroyers only have around 1100 health, and for a vehicle like this to have 1500, that's quite a lot. So we get 2 shells into the enemy Bourrasque, and he's already nuked. I mean, we were able to get both of those shots, and look at that. I mean, bro's already done. We have teammates, we have players that are doing their job, that are holding him off, and that just puts us in a huge situation. Now, the enemy does have a silencer, which could be a problem, but right now we're going to aim it on the lightweight. There's a 311 shot. Boom, dead. 531 off his tank. And then he needs to back up and reload. This is why the Bourrasque is so insane. That's 1200 damage we've dealt. And this is where DPM doesn't matter. Am I putting my tank in a situation right now where I need that damage output to win the battle? No. I'm sitting, I'm waiting, and I'm patiently just waiting until I get my shells, and then boom, there's a 316 to the Chimera, and boom, a 275, and now we're up to 1830 damage. And we do the same thing again. We wait another 12, 13 seconds until we get our clip back, and we nuke some more. And this is really the simple explanation of why a vehicle like this is so powerful, because you just don't rely on all the other things that we were talking about. Look at that, 403, 822. I mean, we're up to 2600 already. That's insane. We did 800 damage to a Tier 8. I mean, again, that's literally ISU levels of damage there. And then we reload in 5 more seconds, and maybe we can get some damage into the enemy Chimera, who doesn't even see us right now. So we'll just move over here, and there's 1 shell into his tank, and then we'll shoot one at his lower plate. There you go, another 600 damage. That's 3200 dealt now at this point. Yeah, what a real challenging vehicle to drive. Just in the first game, I think we've really showcased what makes this vehicle so insane in my eyes, because it's just so incredibly hard to counter a tank that has this level of damage output. Now, unfortunately, our 1HE does not pen the silencer. I was really hoping it would, but it actually has more armor than I thought it would for a a charioteer-style vehicle. However, we still took 400 health off of him because our second shell still rolled over 300. So, when we take a look at the victory results here, we had one of the easiest games. I mean, 3,600 damage, 3 kills assisted, 2 destroyed of ourself, and, I mean, it's just the easiest farm ever. This is why the Bourrasque is just absolutely insane. So, let's do one more battle in the Bourrasque, and, let's see if we can keep it up. What do we have up against us? Defender Mark 1, a Bourrasque, and a 1390. They only have 2 heavies, which is an IS-2 Shielded and an IS-2 Berlin. Interesting that both of them are the premium IS variants. We are going to start off by going to the heavy crossing, and this is good because it gives your team a lot of information. They also have a Semovente Contracarro 64, so it wouldn't surprise me too much if maybe 1 or 2 vehicles did go over towards this side of the map. And even if they don't, there you go, we spotted an AMX 1390 in the crossing, which is pretty nice. So we have an idea of what their team's doing. We can see the 1390 over here, and there you go, we can see a defender. Okay, well, let's see what's going on. We got the Defender Mark 1, got the IS-2 Berlin. Right now I'm just waiting, and I'm hoping that somebody makes a mistake. We get a shell into the 1390, pretty good stuff. And while we're not able to get a second shell out, I knew it. I knew they were going to send some doofus over to the other side. I just didn't think it would be a Vipera, you know? Oh well. Let's move over here. I'm not really too worried about the Vipera as of now. It's just not that big of a threat. What we're going to do is we're going to use the mobility of this vehicle. And we're going to squeeze right off to the side. There you go. Nice shot into the enemy AMX. Then we have the Defender Mark 1, who I was going to shoot, of course. And that Vipera is very annoying. That's what I'm going to say. We don't have the gun elevation to hit him right now. Alright, Vipera just dumped his full clip, if I'm not mistaken. And we're just going to move to the side of his tank, ideally. Let's see if we can actually get to the rear of his vehicle. Here we go. Yes, sorry, Bob. And there's 1 shell and 2 oh, okay. Bruh. This game, man. This game is something else sometimes. I'm really worried about that enemy Bourrasque rolling behind me because... Okay, no, he's not going to. Alright, we're just going to stay behind the Vipera for now, and we're going to make it so that he literally can't do anything for, like, the rest of the game. We get 1 HE into his rear for 440. We get another shell, and he's dead. Oh, there you go. Welcome to the Bourrasque. This tank is just so stupid. Alright, well, we're doing fine this game. I mean, we did bleed a little bit of health, but it's because you just don't expect the stupids, you know? You don't expect bad players to make really stupid plays, and that guy definitely did. Let's hope the Gravedigger... No, he misses every shell on the silencer. Rather unfortunate. But it's not too big of a problem for me, because the Bourrasque has put himself in a really awkward and kind of sussler situation. Nice HE into the rear of the Bourrasque for 376, and just like that, we did 2,400 damage, and we're going to get another easy win. Again, this is just one of the strongest tier 8s in the game, and there's really no doubt in my mind why. The DPM is not the best, sure, but as we went over, damage per minute is not the most important value in a game, and it is the damage output of your tank. And this vehicle has that damage output. So we did 2,600 plus a slight fire on the SMV. So yeah, it was still like 2,600. I think the fire only did like 20 damage. Oh, actually, no, we did 2,700. Not bad. Either way, 2 pretty good games for the Bourrasque. And yeah, solid on the team as well. And these games aren't cherry-picked. You can see that we had those games back-to-back. I played 1 game in the Bourrasque beforehand just because I wanted to have a little bit of fun. But yeah, all the games you watched in the Bourrasque were back-to-back. This is just an incredibly strong tank, and I would highly recommend anybody that wants just a beast to pick this tank up. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.